Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com with a quick tutorial on Flexbox. So Flexbox, I did recently a video on grid. Flexbox is another way to kind of help lay out stuff in your website. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna create a div here with a class of flex and then just put 3 H1s in it. Okay, I'm not even bother changing the name of the heading. It's fine, they're all first heading. Oh, no, I don't need curly brackets. There we go. Okay, so let's open up this page. Okay, let's open that up in Chrome. We love Chrome. Okay. There we go. So you see, like, right now, what the H1s do is they are blocks. So it's just one block on top of another block. But maybe I want these blocks in a row. That's where flex comes in. So let's head over to the CSS file. Let's delete all the existing CSS over here because it's a different project. That's from the grid tutorial. Delete all that. Okay, and then we're gonna have our container that has the flex class. And basically what this is gonna do, it's gonna have a display. Actually, I'll just do this. A display of flex. What that does is says, hey, this block's it's gonna have like the flex property. So anything inside of it is gonna follow a different set of rules under the flex spec, kind of like we had to change display to grid for the grid. So now, right there, just with that one change, now all these H1s should be in a row. Yep. So now they're now in a row. Now having them all kind of tucked over there, kind of not super useful. So maybe I want them to be spaced out a little bit better. So that you'd use justify content. And then you can use center, which will center them. But it's still a little crunched up in there. I'd like to space them out over that whole row. So let's see what these other ones do. We got space. Let's try first space between. So that what it'll do is that it'll be space, only the space in between the different elements will be even. So he pushes 2 to the edges and then make sure there's an equal space in between. I still don't want these two kind of all nestled up against the edge. So what I can do instead of space between is space around. Save. Okay, so that's much nicer. Okay, now let's add a few more H1s. Save. So now when we see this, okay, very nice. So this is really an easy way to make a nav. Like, you could just sit there, slap flex on a UL, and then all your LIs in a line, evenly space them, and you have a very functional nav with very little work. Okay, and there's a lot of other cool stuff you can do with Flexbox. So I recommend playing some of the Flexbox online games, like Flexbox Froggy and Flexbox Defense. They really help you get used to using Flexbox in a very fun way. Now, here's the thing. Let's go into sort of mobile mode. So let's bring up inspect, Control-Shift-I. And here we are in responsive mode. So like watch, let's actually go to a iPhone 5. Okay, so the iPhone 5, see, it's trying to crunch up all the H1s, and it's just not enough room to crunch up all these H1s in that row. So how do I deal with that? Well, let's go back to the CSS. I can do flex wrap and change it to wrap, which means it'll wrap from row to row, which is a great thing when you have like product listings and you don't know how many products they're going to be because it changes. So you have a card for each product, but you know you want it to change into rows, and depending on the size of the screen, wrap is great. And reverse wrap just means it wraps in the opposite direction. So like the ones you think the first element is what will wrap to the next row instead of the last element, and then no wrap is the default. So if I change it to wrap, okay, see, that's much better. Okay, so it still wraps them on different rows, and still within those rows keeps them even space between. But maybe I want to use the Flexbox as a column. There are situations where you're going to want that. Okay, so what you would do is you would change flex direction. So you can change it to column. You can change the column reverse, where actually it will list your elements in reverse order. So the last element will be the first element. Which, again, there may be situations, especially if you're doing something like interactive and you're changing the styles on the fly based on interactions with the website, you can do cool stuff with that. But if I change that to column, then we go back, we do this, and it's just a column from the get-go. And it's an even space between each of the H1s, but they're not centered because technically the justified content is now working on the column, not on the row. So if I want to do the opposite, so basically not the main direction, then you're going to use aligned content. So I can do aligned content, and then I can center that, and then that should center my these rows. Okay, so literally there you go. So for example, you can make this a navigation menu for mobile. So basically when it's, well, you don't see my email, okay, index.html. So essentially when it's normal size, you could have the normal flex direction of row, but then when it goes to a mobile size using like a media query, you can change it to column and center it and get the appearance you want without necessarily having to really change all that much styling wise. And then, you know, you create a little sandwich menu with a little toggle, and ta-da, you quickly have put together a responsive navigation. So Flexbox allows you to really make really mobile friendly rows, okay, because those rows can wrap. You can really position things in those in those objects. It's very nice. Now what if I wanted this Flexbox container to be a little bit thinner? So let's say width 80%. Okay, this is not really a Flexbox trick, just a general trick. I always like to point this out because I use it a lot. So Flexbox 80%. Okay, if I refresh it, notice it doesn't kind of floats over to the left, and that's not really centered. We don't really like that. So what we need to do is center the container. The problem is like things like text align won't center the container, and this div that all the H1s are in is not within a flex container, so I can't use justify content center. I could make body flex if I wanted to, but assuming that basically my parent container is still a block display and this is not an inline element, because okay, so again, if it's a flex, if the element is within a flex container, then you can use justify content to align it. If the element is an inline element, you can use text align to align it. But in the situation where it's a block container inside a block, how do I center it? Then you have to use margin. Okay, and in that case I'm going to say 10 pixels. I always like to put 10 pixels, just a little breathing room, and then put auto. Okay, the first number is your top bottom margin, and then the other one is your left right margin. And what it does when it's auto, it makes sure that there's an equal amount on both sides. So then that'll center the block within the body block. So now you've centered it again, but you have a nice thinner whatnot. So you may decide that you want like a little white space on the sides. It can look really pretty depending on what you're doing. So that's how you would achieve that. So that's basically a nice little crash course on Flexbox. My name is Alex Merced. Make sure to head over to alexmercedcoder.com where you can learn more from all my other videos. So go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go subscribe to my podcast. Go follow my Medium articles. Make sure you join the Dev Networking Slack so you can meet other developers, other developers of all types, and you know, share ideas, review each other's portfolios and projects, all that kind of cool stuff. Add me on LinkedIn. Follow me on GitHub. And hey, if you're hiring, go check out my portfolio resume. Yes, and then here you can see many of my previous projects and play with them. Some of them are games, some of them are useful tools. Check them out. So otherwise, I will see you guys later on. Have a great day and enjoy.